Hey, it is Tara, your yoga bestie, and thanks so much for joining me today. No props in particular, unless you just like to use them. Like, I will always use blocks, just saying. But if you have any props that you know that you like to have, please have them. I'll probably be utilizing my blocks throughout, but they are totally optional. And yeah, let's make our way to a comfortable seated position or reclined. Our practice will start from a reclined space, but you're welcome to check in with your breath wherever you like. And as you make your way into your space, settle in, maybe wiggle into it. And then we'll close our eyes as we start to tap into our Ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Taking this time to connect with our breath. It's our energy source throughout our practice. So as we inhale, we'll feel the space right below the navel start to lift. As it draws upward, we'll feel an expansion through our bellies, the side bodies, the rib cage, and our breath draws all the way up to where it lifts the collarbones. And then on our exhalation, we're going to feel our belly button draw in towards the spine, which allows us to use all three parts of the lungs. Our Ujjayi breath is an audible breath. You're going to hear a snoring-like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like you're fogging up a mirror with your nose. So you want to be able to hear your breath. And let's see if we can create a rhythm where we inhale to the count of 3, 4, 5, even 6, and exhale the same or maybe a little bit longer. And while you're tuning in, we have been talking about the niyamas in my class, which is the second of the 8 limbs of yoga. There are inner practices and self-relationship, and we are in the second of the 5, which is Santosha. Santosha translates to contentment, but I am using a definition of joy without conditions. And then our emphasis for this class is enough is enough. So, how often do we tell ourselves that this moment isn't quite enough? One more pose, one more accomplishment, one more thing to check off the to-do list until we get to relax or whatever it is that we get to do once those things are done. Side note, more stuff always comes. Yeah, so we're never really done, are we? But as we move through today's practice, notice if you're chasing a stronger pose, a different version of yourself, where you think you should be, and what if this breath, this effort, this body, whatever it is just enough. The good news is that in my practice, we repeat a lot. So the good news with that is that you don't have to take every round. You can listen to your body and sit one out. Or maybe you sit multiples out. I don't know. Whatever feels good to you. But can we lead our practice today with intention instead of expectation? So not worrying about whether something is enough, but just allowing ourselves to be completely present. Because when we're present, we're not worried about whether we're enough or not. We're just in the moment. And that's where we're going to allow ourselves to listen to our body and enjoy. And the more present we are, we always enjoy more. So let's see what happens if we just put those expectations to the side, because we can always find them later if we want them. On our next inhale, let's find some movement. So whatever you're feeling, maybe just moving the head around, maybe moving the torso from side to side, or whatever else is calling your name. And then we'll bring our hands together at our heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we set our intention for our practice, which might be Santosha, or joy without conditions, emphasizing enough is enough. So if you're not there already, we'll make our way onto our backs, and we'll get a nice full body stretch. We can extend the arms up overhead, can extend our legs out in front of us, any other movement that feels good at this time, maybe moving the head from side to side, maybe making some rotations, the wrists, the ankles, just saying hello to your body. And then from here, let's bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. We're going to come into a wide stance as we bring our right arm underneath our left arm. So we're coming into Garuda arms or eagle arms. So we might reach for opposite shoulders, or we might have space to wrap the arms around one another. And then see if you can bring those arms up overhead where we can stay, or maybe you create some movement where you lift and lower here. And you can keep your legs still, or if you would like some additional movement, you could windshield wiper the legs from side to side. So lots of different opportunities. You might choose to hold and do the windshield wipers. You might decide to keep your legs still and move, or everything could be still and you could just reach the arms up overhead. We'll take a couple breaths as we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. And exhale. And then from this space, let's bring the right leg over the left leg. So we're coming into our full eagle pose. So you have the option of wrapping that foot around the calf or just crossing the legs. And once you have the legs set up, go ahead and extend, just bringing that big toe onto the mat as we extend through the arms. And then on our exhale, we'll crunch it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. We'll reach those arms out to the sides, maybe making those goalpost arms, and then create a figure 4 with your legs as we just kind of tick-tock those legs from side to side. And then we'll bring it to stillness where we can gently press the inside of that knee, or maybe we lift up that foot to find a bind where we can interlace underneath the knee or across the shin. And if you have that bind, you might rock along the spine here. You can also use your elbow as leverage to push that knee further forward. Big breath in. Exhale, we'll release, we'll let that go. And then we'll just bring the soles of the feet onto the mat in that wide stance. This time, left arm comes underneath right, so either reaching for opposite shoulders or wrapping the arms around. And then we have all those different options with the arms. I'm going to start out by just having those arms overhead, and then maybe finding a little bit of movement here. Maybe I start to bring in those windshield wipers with the legs. Taking a couple more breaths as we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. And exhale. And then bring that left leg over the right. We'll get nice and long in this full eagle pose on our back. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, we extend. Exhale. Nice. We're here for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll then release the arms. We'll create that figure 4 shape with the legs as we tick-tock from side to side. And then either gently press to the inside of that knee, or we can find that bind by interlacing underneath the knee or across the shin. And we might find some movement here as well. One more big breath here. Exhale. And then we'll release, bringing those knees into the chest as we rock and roll to our standing forward fold at the front of our mat. So no rush to get there. But once you do, separate your feet about hip distance apart, which is about 2 fists in between the feet, but it can always be wider. And find an arm variation you like. I'm going to walk my hands from side to side, but maybe you hang like a rag doll, reaching for opposite elbows. You might bring the arms behind the back, interlacing those fingers. You could shake the head out as if we're saying yes and no. And then we'll start to toe heel our feet in towards one another as we roll it all the way up to standing. As soon as we're up, we'll draw those shoulders up, back, and down. And then let's inhale, arms reach, gaze lifts. Exhale, coming into our forward fold so we can swan dive or bring the hands through the heart. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. And then plant the palms, keeping your right foot here as we step the left foot back. I'm going to use my blocks as I start to shift forward and back from runners to a pyramid-like pose. So just moving at the pace of your body. Feel free to linger anywhere if there's something interesting. And the next time that we shift it forward, hold it here. Really draw those shoulders back as you lift up through your gaze and your chest. Moving into our eagle pose. So we're just there on our backs. So now we'll bring that left leg over the right. We'll bring the left arm underneath the right, finding our variation, shoulders down, elbows away from the chest. Big breath in. Exhale, and then pick up that left leg, bring it behind your right as we come all the way onto our seat. So you can always release the hands because we're going to do it anyway once we're seated. Coming into a twist, so right arm comes behind us, left arm reaches up as we either hug that knee in or use our elbow as leverage to find this twist. Shoulders draw down as we lengthen. Exhale, maybe going deeper into the twist. Inhale. And exhale. We'll release facing forward. Sit back to bring the soles of the feet on the mat. Moving into a reverse table. So push into those feet as you lift up the hips. Gaze can stay straight ahead, up at the ceiling, or maybe you drop that head back, just depending on what feels good to your neck. Breathing into those shoulders. Big breath in. On our exhale, go ahead and lower those hips down. Extend through your right leg and bring your right hand to the outside of that thigh as we come into wild thing. So left arm is going to reach up as we come into the ball mound of that left foot. Hips lift. Maybe finding some movement here, like making some circles or bending and straightening those legs. Inhale, we reach it up. Exhale, gaze towards the back. Step that left foot to the back of your mat, coming into a runner's lunge, where we'll plant the hands, pushing the floor away as we come into our plank or push-up position. On our exhale, we'll slowly lower. Option to come all the way onto our belly, or we can hover. Inhaling into your cobra or maybe up dog. Exhaling into your down dog. From that down dog, go ahead and lift up your right leg. We'll open up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Working that left heel down, we can stay or we can start to make some circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. And then as we inhale, straighten that leg. Exhale, knee draws to nose. Bring that foot all the way through as we move into our full crescent pose. So make sure you're not on a tightrope. Arms will reach up overhead. Maybe find a little bit of a bounce here this first time in this space. Big breath in, we lift. Exhale, feel your core engage. So belly button draws into spine to pick up that back leg for our figure four chair. So we could have our arms out in front of us like we're driving a car. Hands could be at heart center, or we might have our arms on that leg. Also have the option of bringing those hands down if you want to find a forward fold variation. What's important is that we're shifting that weight back into the heel. So we're sitting it back. Big breath in. Exhale, step that foot back for your runner's lunge to our twist. So left hand is down, right arm reaches up. Stacking shoulder on top of shoulder, so try to reach up towards the sky. One more big breath in. Exhale, gaze down and ground down through your back foot, like warrior two legs, as we lift up our torso coming into our reverse warrior. So reaching up and over as we continue to soften through that forward knee. Inhaling. Exhale. And then straighten that leg. Pivot your toes to where you face the front of your mat. And we'll lower our hands down as we come into this runner's lunge, where that back knee lowers. And let's straighten through our left leg for our half splits. So you can always have props underneath your hands. You can always have a bend in the knee. But once you find your spot, just let your head relax. Nice long neck. Full breath in. Exhale. And then we shift it forward for half moon. So I'm going to use one of my handy blocks right here as I lift up that right arm and leg, opening it up towards the right side of the mat. Flexing through that foot. Big inhale. And then on our exhale, forward fold at the front of our mat. Let it go. Let's roll it up. Arms reach up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Exhale, hands plant. Step your right foot back this time, coming into your runner's lunge, where I'm going to bring my blocks again, and we'll start to shift forward and back, checking out what's going on this side. Probably not the same as the first side, which is totally normal and totally okay. Next time we shift it forward, hold. Work those shoulders back as you lift up through your gaze and chest. And then let's pick up that back leg. Eagle pose, so we have right leg on top, right arm underneath as we sit into that left heel. Shoulders are down, elbows are away from the chest. As you find your focal point or drishti to focus on, big breath in. Exhale, pick up this right leg, bring it behind as we come all the way onto our seat, setting up for our seated twist. So left arm comes behind us as we either hug this knee in or use our elbow as leverage. Shoulders draw down as we lengthen. Exhale, belly button to spine as we go deeper into our twist. Big breath here. Exhale. And then we'll release facing forward, sit it back so that we can bring the soles of the feet onto the mat for our reverse table where we'll inhale, lift it up. Feels so nice in the shoulders. Exhale. Let's lower it down. And then left leg extends this time, setting up for our wild thing. So left hand to the outside of the thigh, right arm up. Let's lift up those hips. Maybe find some movement here. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we gaze towards the back. And we'll step our right foot forward, coming into our runner's lunge. Oh, hey, little buddy. Niall's really excited about this part. We'll push the mat away to find our plank pose, super strong. Exhale, we'll slowly lower with muscle, either all the way down or hovering chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, or maybe up dog. Exhaling into our down dog. All right, and then from our down dog, left leg lifts. Let's open up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Holding it here, we can start to make our circles, going in one direction, going in the other direction. Inhale, we straighten. Exhale, knee draws to nose, and we'll bring that foot through, setting up for crescent pose. So arms will reach. Maybe if we find a little bouncy here. And then next time that knee is bent, lift up through the heart. Exhale, pick up the back leg, figure four chair. So we're bringing that ankle above the knee. All the same arm variations as before are available to you. So listen to your body. Keep sitting into that heel. Inhale. Exhale, step it back, runner's lunge to our twist. So right hand is down, left arm reaches up as we stack shoulder on top of shoulder, really reaching up. Inhale. Exhale, gaze down, ground down through your back foot like warrior two legs, and then lift up your torso for that reverse warrior as we continue to soften through that knee. Gaze could be up or it might be at your back foot. Inhale. Exhale, straighten. Let's bring all of our toes to where they're facing forward. And then we move into that runner's lunge where we lower the back knee down and we straighten through our right leg for our half splits. Take one more big breath in. Exhale. We shift it forward for half moon. So I've got my block here as I lift up the left arm and leg, opening up towards the left side. One more breath in. Exhale, forward fold, so feet come together. We let it go. And then let's roll it all the way up. Arms will reach up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Let's inhale, lengthening halfway. Exhale, hands plant, gaze stays forward as we step or float it back. Making our way to our down dog, either by taking that vinyasa, or you can go right to your down dog from plank pose. Take a full breath in. Exhale, soften the knees, gazing forward as we step or float to the front. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, forward. Let's reverse. We'll reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, hands plant as we step or float it. Making our way to our down dog. Big breath in. Exhale, soften those knees. Gaze forward as you step or float to the front. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, forward. Let's reverse. Reach it up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant the hands as we step or float it back. making our way to our down dog or any resting position of choice. How we doing? I hope you're doing so amazing because that is our warm up, but it's more than that, okay? So if you are new to my practice, we do 2 main sequences, which I call peanut butter and jelly, and almost all of the poses that are in those sequences are in the warm up. We do peanut butter 3 times, jelly 3 times, and then at the end, we bring them together for one final delicious, nutritious, sure, peanut butter and jelly sequence sandwich. So, who's ready? You are. Let's do this. So, I don't know, where should we start? The book says down dog, so we'll start in down dog. And as we make our way there, we're practicing Santosha, so joy without conditions, and keeping in mind that enough is enough. Never forget, if we're breathing on our mats, we're doing yoga. So there's a reason we repeat, so that we can always take breaks whenever we need to. Can always add on too. So make it your own. Down dog. From that down dog, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we'll bring that leg through, setting up for crescent pose, full Anjaneyasana. Big breath in as we lift up through the heart. Exhale, pick up that back leg, moving into our figure 4 chair. So when we start to move after this first time, we'll be moving more of a one breath, one posture type of situation. But if you want a little bit of playtime, you might come into your flying pigeon. And if you have blocks or something comparable, please use them. Here's why. You're gonna try to hook that foot around the arm as your leg goes in towards the armpits. Your gaze stays lifted, and we're teeter-tottering forward as we continue to push the floor away. So as we shift, we push. And if you're interested, the only way to get your leg up to where it starts to straighten is to keep getting your ass up towards the ceiling. So that's also a huge fear factor. So if it doesn't happen, no worries, but see how when I lift up my seat, I'm able to work that leg straight. I won't do that if I don't lift up the seat because it's too hard. So it's a lot of leverage right there. Keep that in mind. That's a lot of the arm balances anyway, is a lot of leverage. Strength, sure, but leverage even more so. From this space, we'll all step it back to our runner's lunge, to our twist. Left hand down, right arm reaches up. Big breath in. Exhale, gaze down and ground down as we inhale into our reverse warrior. Full breath in. Exhale, and I'm taking one of my blocks with me because I'm going to straighten the legs. And then we face the back as we come into runner's lunge, lowering our back knee as we come into our half splits. Take a full inhale. Exhale, and then we shift it forward for our half moon, opening it up towards the right side. Big breath in. Exhale, we'll come into a soft landing into our runner's lunge, and then we move right into our other side. So we're doing an infinity flow. Left leg lifts as we inhale. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, crescent pose. Exhale, moving into our figure 4 chair, which I'm going to get my other block for this one time and one time only. So have the option that we had before in our warm-up, or if you're wanting to play with that flying pigeon, bringing the leg into the armpits, wrapping that foot around, and doing that teeter-totter as you shift forward. Again, if you want to work that back legs are the one that's lifting. If you want to work that one straight, we have to lift up through our seat. But we're also pushing the floor away really big time. This is not a complacent situation. You will face plant, but you really have to push into the mat, or the blocks in this instance. We'll step it back for our runner's lunge to our twist. So right hand down, left arm reaches up, really reaching up. And then we gaze down, ground down through the back foot as we inhale into our reverse warrior. From that reverse warrior, we'll straighten the legs, toes will face the front, and then we move into that runners where we lower the back knee down, half splits. Big breath in. Exhale, shift it forward, half moon. Lifting up that left arm and leg. Yes. And then as we exhale, we step it back and we go right into our right side. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, crescent pose. Exhale, figure four chair. We step it back. We come into our runner's twist. Inhale. Exhale, gaze down. Ground down through that back foot as we inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, straighten the legs. Pivot to the back, or we come into runners, lowering that knee, and we straighten that leg for a half splits as we inhale. Exhale, shift it forward, half moon. And then we take it back, one-legged down dog. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, crescent pose. Exhale, moving into our figure four chair. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, gaze down, ground down. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, straighten toes to the front. We straighten through that right leg as we take a big breath in. Exhale, and then shift it forward, half moon as we inhale. Exhale, step it back. Last round, right leg lifts. We bring it through. Inhale, crescent pose. Exhale, figure four chair. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, we ground it down. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, we straighten, facing the back. We straighten through that left leg as we take a full breath in. Exhale, and then shift it forward as we inhale, half moon. Exhale, step it back. Last side, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring it through. Inhale, crescent pose. Exhale, moving into our figure four chair. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, gaze and ground. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, straighten and face the front. We lower that back knee down as we take a full breath in with that half splits. Exhale, and then we shift it forward, half moon. Ooh, I didn't mean to come into my forward fold, but I fell right into it. Go wherever you want. That's peanut butter. Just falling right into it. All right. Which means it's jelly time. So, check in with your breath. Get a drink of water. Or whatever your not Topo Chico is. Towel off, whatever you need to do. What is this? I don't know. It's like a pom-pom. It's very strange. Anyway, or a feather. Who cares? We're coming to the front of our mat, coming into mountain pose. We're practicing Santosha, so joy without conditions, and we know when enough is enough. So let's make our way there, checking in with our breath. Can come into our mountain pose, traditional Tadasana, by bringing those palms forward as we work those shoulders back. And just take a full inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Let's do this. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen, and then plant the palms as you step the left foot back, coming into your runner's lunge. In this runner's lunge, work your shoulders back and lift up through your gaze, because we're moving into Garudasana, our eagle pose. So left leg is on top, left arm is underneath as we sit it back into that heel. Take a full breath in. Exhale, lift up that top leg and bring it behind as we come into our seated twist. So we're twisting towards the right. Take a full breath in. Exhale, let it go. We release facing forward. Bring those soles of the feet onto the mat as we come into our reverse table. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we lower. Right leg extends. And then we inhale, wild thing, coming onto the ball of that left foot. We gaze to the back and we step to the back. And we're already ready for the left side. It's another infinity flow. So pick up the back leg, eagle pose. Right leg is on top, right arm underneath as we sit into that heel. Full breath here. Exhale, lift up the top leg and bring it behind as we come into our seated twist, twisting to the left. Big breath in. Exhale. Release, facing the back of the mat. Plant those feet. Inhale, reverse table. Exhale, we lower. Left leg extends, left hand down, right arm up. We inhale wildly. Exhale, gaze to the front, and step that right foot forward. We're ready. Pick up your back leg. Coming into eagle pose, left leg on top, left arm underneath. Inhale. Exhale, moving into our seated twist. We twist to the right, full breath in. Exhale, and then we release, setting up for that reverse table. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, lower. Right leg extends, left arm is up. We inhale wildly. Exhale, gaze the back, left foot comes to the back. And we're ready for the other side. Right leg on top, right arm underneath for our eagle pose. Lifting up that top leg, we bring it behind for our seated twist. Big breath in. Exhale. We release. Bring the soles of the feet onto the mat as we inhale, reverse table. Exhale, we lift, or lower. And then left leg extends. We inhale wildly. Exhale, gaze the front, and step that right foot forward. We're on our last round. Pick up the back leg. Left leg is on top, left arm underneath. We lift up that top leg and we bring it behind. We twist to the right, full breath in. Exhale. Release, facing forward. Reverse table, we inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Right leg extends, left arm is up as we inhale, wildly. Exhale, gaze the back and step it to the back. Last side, pick up that back leg, eagle pose, right arm underneath. And then we lift, moving into that seated twist towards the left, full breath in. Exhale. Reverse table, soles of the feet on the mat. We inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering. And then left leg extends, right arm is up as we inhale, wildly. Exhale, step that right foot to the front. And then left foot can mean it. Which means that's the end of jelly. Which means something very exciting. It's peanut butter and jelly time. And that is awesome, even if this isn't. Anyway, are you ready? I think you're ready. Let's make our way to down dog. Santosha. Joy without conditions. Enough is enough. So maybe you're not doing this with me, but if you do, just one last time. Come on, let's do this. So down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, we bring it through. Inhale, crescent pose. Exhale, figure four chair. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, gaze down and ground down. Inhale into our reverse warrior. Exhale, we'll straighten. Spin to the back. And then lower your back knee down as we straighten through that left leg. Full breath here. Exhale, we'll soften. We inhale, half moon. And then we exhale, taking that big step back. Lift up through your gaze and your chest. Eagle pose, right leg is on top, right arm underneath. And then we move into that seated twist towards the left, full breath in. Exhale. Reverse table, we inhale, lifting up those hips. Exhale, we lower. Right leg extends, left arm is up as we inhale wildly. Exhale, gaze the front. Left foot steps forward. It's an infinity of an infinity, so crescent pose. Pick up the back leg. Figure four chair. We step it back. We inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, ground down. We inhale, reverse. We'll straighten, toes face the back. Lowering that knee, half splits. Full breath here. Exhale, soften that knee, half moon, open it up towards the left. And then we take a big step back. Eagle pose, left leg is on top. Left arm is underneath. And then we pick up the top leg to come into our seated twist. Twisting to the right, full breath in. Exhale. Release for reverse table, we inhale, lift. We exhale, lower. Left leg extends, right arm up as we inhale, wild thing. Exhale, step it to the front. And then step it to the front because you did it. Awesome. Let's make our way to a seated position where we'll find some stillness. So closing the eyes, slowing down the breath, putting a big smile on your face, letting all of this hard work sink in that you made happen. Just be so proud of yourself. Know that I'm so proud of you. And feel free to stay here to end your practice in a seated position. If you prefer a more traditional Shavasana, you can come onto your back. Either way, we'll make our way to our version of Shavasana. As always, stay here as long as you wish. But if you're ready, we'll start to invite small movements into the body, like wiggling the fingertips and the toes. And if you're on your back, you can roll to one side. We'll all meet in a seated position with our hands at heart center. One of my hands is being licked by a dog. It's cool. It's no big deal. But thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. Thank you so much for showing up and making this commitment to yourself, and for practicing Santosha, joy without conditions. Enough is enough. And let's take this practice with us as we leave the mat, because that is when our true yoga begins. It has been an honor to lead you, and until next time, namaste. 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 Bye.